What's up, light bearers? Welcome to Light Tap. My name is Melissa.
And I'm Emily.
Emily, where have we been?
Where you been?
Dying. I'm just kidding. Actually, yeah, we
haven't died.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Like, obviously, spring. I love spring. We get to see the beautiful flowers, and we get to see everything blooming and being just so wonderful. But then I die for that season. So that's what happened to me. And then I kind of recovered because I know a trick now how to get better. And I did, and then I was like, I low-key like to just shut up, listen, and just enjoy and like fill my cup type of thing. So
sometimes we do need our cups to be full.
Yeah, and so that's why I was like, yeah, I'm not ready to come back. But eventually we were like, hey, when are we doing this?
It's time.
And so here we are. Where have you been?
I've been working.
Yeah.
It's been a lot, but it's been great. But it's been a lot.
And I'm tired, but I'm here.
Yep.
Oh man. All right. So since we're back, we really are getting our feet wet into this. Just a disclaimer, as we do it all the time. This is just a light tap into the subject. Mm-hmm. This is not a Bible study. This is not a Bible teaching. This is not a Bible preaching. We are not scholars in this. We are not theologians in this. We are not lo que tú quieras ponerle in this. We are going to have a talk like we normally do.
Yep.
With or without a camera.
You can just pretend you're sitting in the couch with us, joining our conversation.
Mm-hmm. Porque aquí nadie le está enseñando a nadie. If we are wrong, let us know in the comments. We are here to learn too. Like, hey, I want to learn. You want to learn?
Of course.
So there you go. But today, Emily, we are going to be talking about family versus family time versus church time. Ooh. Have you? You grew up in church.
Yeah, I did.
Okay?
I did.
Todos sabemos eso, la Emily.
Before I was even born.
Antes,
Desde el vientre.
Estaba en la church.
my mom would always tell everybody, no, she was born in church. Like, when she was in my belly, I'm over here giving class to the kids. And then as soon as she had me, she would put me in my little car seat. And she would rock me with her foot.
The church,
she was
the church
giving class.
Actually, you know how they do at home births? Your mom should have done an at church birth with you.
No, thank you.
But yes, obviously you've been in church. You know, has crecido allí. Siempre estabas allí. All the things, right? Pero, were there any moments donde you really felt like, hold up, this is too much church and not enough family bonding time?
You know what's crazy? Now that I think about it, when we were young, it was all we knew. So to us, it was normal. We thought this is what life was supposed to be. And don't get me wrong, we loved going to church. We never complained or anything like that. But I do remember we had moments where I would tell my dad, hey, we want to go here. Hey, we want to go do this and do that. And our family time was our yearly trip to El Salvador. But that didn't start until I was maybe 12 or 13 and my brother was 10. So we were still pretty young, but
that's kind of low-key old though.
Yeah. So I remember
para empezar algo.
Exactly. So I remember whenever we did hear and we would spend more time with our friends, because obviously we were not allowed to go to people's houses and things like that. And we would see them at church. Oh, what did you do this summer? And be like, church camp? Bible school? I don't know. We had el campamento de los niños. That's what we did.
Shoot, yeah.
Exactly. So it's our summer, we didn't have family time. We thought this was normal.
That is true.
So see, now you're thinking back. So
oh my God.
Our family time, from as long as I can remember, and maybe you did this too. We would go to the zoo. We would go to Herman Park, and we would go on the ferry.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the three
Galveston.
those were the three that we would do
The locations.
constantly. And we really didn't venture out too far from that, other than now when we got older and I started driving. I would take everyone for a yearly trip to San Antonio, and it was me, the one that was making all of the plans. But back in the day, it was like we either do those three things or we go to El Salvador. There was no in between.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like, oh, okay, we went to the ferry once this year, we're not gonna go again. No, we would constantly go. Or my dad would be like, he would wake us all up in the morning, like at 7 a.m, and we were like grunts and be like, no, let me sleep. And he would leave. He would get a cooler full of like fruits and waters and drinks, and then he would come back an hour later at 8 o'clock. Everybody get out of bed, we're going to the park today, and we're gonna go swim, and we're gonna go do this, and we're gonna go kayaking, bunch of different things. But it never strayed too far from that. So that was our family time. So I remember, I don't know, maybe you weren't there, we were a little older, and I don't remember if I already told the story on this podcast or not. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. You tell me. I do feel like we didn't go out as much as a family as other people, but my parents still took the time to take us out, just not as much, because all of our time was spent in church.
Yeah.
And I remember I was never really upset. I would be upset because I didn't do the things that I wanted, but we still took time to be together. And I remember there was this one leader in our church that my dad wasn't there anymore, and he came and he called me and my brother up. And he called a bunch of people up, but specifically children of parents who were or are leaders. And he called them up and he started praying over us, me and my brother. And I remember as he was praying, because, we have been taught, you can let anybody pray for you, but you better cover yourself and make sure that it's coming from God before anybody lays a hand on you. So, and I didn't care who it was, whether I've known you for years, whether you're like a stand-up guy, you've been preaching forever. I'm like, lo que sea de ti, Dios, que sea de ti, que me venga, y lo que no de ti,
reject
it. I don't accept it.
Decline.
So this guy, which we had known for a long time, he put his hands on my brother. And he started saying, he doesn't know what a true father's love is. He's never kicked the ball in his life. He's never been. Show him what a true love from a man is, Lord. And I was like, hold up. You don't know us. What do you mean? And he started going off and off and off that.
Got the whole story wrong.
I'm like, you got the whole story wrong. My dad took the time to teach us how to swim. He taught us how to ride a bike. He would take and teach us. He would force me to play soccer and be like, no, you're going to learn. You're going to be active. It was just in his own way. But because people didn't see that, they were like, he's not an active dad. Yeah. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. And me and my brother literally opened our eyes and we're like, what did he just say?
So in your family, so then you did have a good balance.
I know. I did not have a good balance.
Well, it sounds like you
did. But to us, it was a good, let me say this. It was 80% church, 20% family time.
Oh, okay.
But because to us, it was so normal to be in church.
That you felt that like to me, it was like, we do have family time.
We have family time.
Got it.
So to me, I was like, I have always learned to be very appreciative of the things and the time that we have with people. That to us, we were so grateful that, we would have berrinches here and there, just like any other kid, right? I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to go to different events and SeaWorld and Six Flags. And I would have those moments, but I was still happy that hey, we went to the beach. We went to the park. We went to the zoo. We did these things. So to us, we were just grateful.
You didn't know any better. So you were like, the little bit that you're getting, it was more than enough for you.
Yeah. And it made us happy. It's not like I ever felt like I was missing out.
Yeah.
I felt like I was missing out on things that I wanted.
Yeah.
Not that I needed. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know what I was missing out on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't until I was older where
you discovered things were different.
We should probably do this and this and this and this. And now my parents, they push back so much. They're like, no, we don't want to do that. And we're like, we're trying to build memories here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
in my family, it was a little bit different. Obviamente, nosotros llegamos cuando I was like 15 to the church. So I was like way grown. Way grown. I felt like I was way grown, but I wasn't. I was a little child. Anyways. Just remembering myself, it like annoys me. But yeah, like when we started going to church, it was como que full on church. Yeah. It was like church all the time. And I don't know if it was like taught to us or like yo sentí que era así. No sé cómo pasó, pero or like my family did. I don't know. But it was como que like tienes que estar en la iglesia todos los fines de semana y no puedes perder ningún día, because if you do, then you're going to hell.
Yeah.
So we really felt the pressure of like being in church no matter what, on the weekends, on holidays, on whatever else. And so from 15 forward, like we didn't have that much family time, because mind you, and I can realize that porque nosotros veníamos de not going to church. So the weekends y así, like obviamente no era como extravagant excursions.
Yeah, no.
Pero era como que like, okay, vamos a ir a la pulga, vamos a ir al mall, and we were little, so we would go play at the mall and those little playground things. We would go to the zoo, we would go to the park, we would go to the beach, we would go here and there, and it was like, and it was holidays, y toda la familia llegaba donde mi mom.
Let's go see the lights in the houses.
Christmas was like super packed and a super party and all of these things, and then here we go, we get into church, and then all of a sudden everything changes because people are not wanting to hang out with us in Christmas anymore because we're Christian. So what the party that we used to have, they can't really party like that anymore because we're there. And then two, we're not available for Christmas. Christmas is at church. Like, we have a whole thing we gotta do.
Yeah.
Y también el 31. And then the kids, my nieces and my nephews' birthdays were on, my brothers will celebrate their kids on the weekends. But we were at church. And we would choose church versus going to their parties. And so that really put a strain on our relationship as a family. That kind of separated us, to be honest, because my mom and and my sister, we went to church together because obviously I didn't have a choice. I was 15. My niece and my nephew, de que son de mi sister, they didn't have a choice. They were way younger than me. So nosotros sí era como que bien juntos, pero because our family time was church time. Y obviamente in church it's like 4-hour service y tenés que estar callado all the time. And so it's like, that's not really family bonding time. And so then it was us, nuestro grupito, and then my other two brothers, they were like doing their thing. And so that put like a straight up strain on us for so long. And I remember like I resented my family. Like I resented my mom because I was like, dude, we don't get to do anything, because even if I tell you like, hey mom, can we just take a break today? Can we not go to church because let's do XYZ, or let's go here, look, like they're going to the beach, can we go? She'd be like, no, we have to go to church. We have to go to church. I'm like, this is kind of resented church at that point. Yeah. Because I'm like, dude, you're taking my family, like you're breaking my family apart.
And I think that's the difference between me and you, because I grew up in church. My family, my friends, my unit was in church.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love them. I still do. I still consider everybody that I went to church with family.
Yeah.
It's just, I didn't have something to miss out on. The parties were at church. The events were at church. Yeah. The family time was at church. If we had vacation Bible school, my mom would be the teacher. My dad would be the musician. It was something that like we were together. Like you said, we were still together. We were just separated. We were all doing different things. We were in different ministries, but we were still together. So it's like my people were right there.
Yeah. And see, with me, it wasn't. And so that happened for a long time. It's actually been since COVID.
Really?
Since 2020 that one of my brothers and I reconnected, and we were like, hey, let's hang out. And because we were not going to church,
you're like,
it was easy to like get together and hang out on the weekends and whatever else. And now like not me and him are super close, but because we're just a weird family overall, but like we're technically close, I guess.
You're like, we're just not gushy.
Yeah, we're not. But we'll hang out and we'll like still plan things together. Like we went to Florida together. We went to Canyon Lake together. We did all of these things together. And every time that we go and do anything, like a ir a agarrar jaibas or go fishing or vamos a la playa, vamos al parque, ¿qué vamos a hacer para XYZ holiday?
You make that intentional
it's
time.
Like sabemos que we're gonna spend it together. Our Christmases now are together. We have decided like, hey, we love you, Jesus. We're still gonna celebrate you, Jesus. And if now the church that we go to, they have earlier times, so we'll go to church, but in the evening we're gonna go ahead and spend it with our family. And with my other brother, we just started talking about a month ago, probably.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. That was the whole thing. But it was like, okay, now we're here. And we're actually been hanging out a lot more. And again, it's like, I still low-key resent some of the church moments. Because I was like, I really missed out on my nieces and my nephews. And like spending time with my brothers and their wives, who are really great people. And so I'm like, I don't know. Like, it makes me... And I see it now, even with my mom, that I'm like, I see her and sometimes she still prioritizes church. Like, como para el 31, she's like, yo no voy a estar con ustedes porque yo voy a church.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, I get it. I respect it because that was me at one point. But mom, like, hello, we are your family too. Like, we want to spend time too. Like, we want to celebrate the new year. And we can pray here. We can worship here. But she sees it more like, nope, I gotta go to church.
That's crazy that you mentioned that because I remember when I first started attending another church, my first time going to church without my family. Like, I was intentionally going out on my own. My whole family was somewhere else and I was somewhere else. And the first year I was like, yeah, we're gonna be here. Like, I'm gonna go to church. You go to your church. I'll be with you in spirit. I was like, it is what it is. And I remember my mom saying like, hey, but like, you gotta be with your family. And I was like, yes, but like, y'all are gonna be at church. And I was like, I'm gonna be at church. I'm gonna be with you in spirit. You're in church. I'm in church. Like, it's okay. And I've been with you all these years. There's nothing different. You're just at another church and I'm at another church. And she was just like, that ain't right. And I was like, well. And so the following year, I remember same thing happened. I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to be driving back really late. Because the year before that, I had gotten home like around 2 a.m. or something. I don't remember. Or I came here. I don't remember. I just know that I was like, it's getting
1 year
late.
actually you did come here. That's true.
Because I remember
we spent it together. It was when I was crazy at the patio.
I remember my mom was like, don't come home if you're going to be driving home too late. Might as well drive halfway and go to Melissa's house. And I remember she gave me the okay. Let's go. So I think the following year after that. Yeah. I remember I was like, like, I don't know if I feel okay staying here another year instead of being with my family on specifically the 31st. Obviously, I was with my family in different times and occasions, but for the 31st specifically, since we had always spent it together, this specific year, my dad was not attending that church, and it was just my mom and my brother. So I remember I was like, I'm going to drive back. I'm not going to stay the whole night. I'm going to stay for the service. I'm not going to stay for the prayer service. Yeah. So I remember I went and I drove back early. And when I got to the church, my mom was like, we're going to stay for a little bit. But before the clock strikes 12, we're going back home. I was like, what? I was like, why? I just got here. Like, what you talking about? And she was like, no, because we need to be with your dad. Same. And we need to be together, and we need to bring it in with prayer as a family. Yeah. And we left church and we went home and we woke up our dad and we said, get up and we're going to pray together and bring in the new year. He wasn't really asleep. You know how dads do. They watch the TV and they're like asleep in the sofa. So yeah, I was like, okay. I was like, I agree with that. Yeah.
For sure. I think like, I don't know. church is good, and I know that a lot of like, I don't know, our subscribers are light bearers. Most of you guys go to church, but if you don't, and like you feel like church culture can be overwhelming at times, and can be kind of like pressure de que siempre tienes que estar ahí todo el tiempo, like sirviendo, tienes que like no matter what, like yes, if I don't know, like I just feel it's like if you feel that pressure and people are making it seem como que
there's
si, like,
something wrong. I'm sorry,
como que
there's
si,
something
like,
wrong.
If you choose anything else other than church time,
then you're wrong.
Que te vas a ir al infierno, que estás en pecado, que you're wrong, right. Que you don't love Jesus, all this stuff. It's time to reconsider some things.
Yeah, because to everything in life there's balance, and you know, there's a preaching that I heard not recently but a couple months ago that they were talking about family time, and they were saying like, how do you expect to win over your family and bring them to Christ when you don't even spend time with them? How are they even gonna be able to listen to you when you don't take the time to listen to them? Like, es que para mí, to build that relationship. For sure. You know?
Especialmente si tenés hijos, I feel like, como parents, like, how do you expect to influence your kids if you're never around them?
Exactly.
Like, if you're always at church, like you said, like, yes, you were at church with your whole family, but your dad was in ministerio. He was serving. Your mom was in ministerio. She was serving. I mean, luckily, you were with your mom because y'all like our interests are the same. Your brother was with your dad because the interest was the same. Pero imagínate que no.
Exactly.
Then the kids are just there.
Yeah.
Like, a saber haciendo qué, because we saw that too, donde los parents eran líderes y los hipotes allá andaban corriendo afuera. Y es como que, like, that's not family time.
They're not even participating.
Bonding. They're not building together. They're not growing. They're not influencing. They're not, you know what I mean? So it's como que, like,
there has to be a balance to everything.
For sure.
And don't get me wrong. Yes, attend church. Don't miss services. But let's make one thing clear. Just because you go to church does not mean you're saved.
Yeah.
Just because you never miss a service does not mean you're more knowledgeable than the person right next to you.
For sure.
Like, you can read the Bible, and at the end of the day, not understand a single thing you just read.
Yeah.
You can hear a bunch of preachings and memorize them, but that doesn't mean that you had actual understanding.
Exactly.
So if you, like, let's be very frank, if you're at a church that they're like, you cannot miss a service, you have to be there, and you cannot prioritize one weekend during the summer to your family, I'm sorry, there needs to be a talk.
For sure.
Why are they pushing for that?
Yeah, like, what's the motive behind this? What's the intention behind this? Like, what is the reasoning behind this? And I just think that igual, I mean, si tú vas a una iglesia así o lo que sea, y you're okay with it, like, you're fine with that or whatever, también, pues, está en tu conciencia, tú puedes tomar tus propias decisiones. Like, take this moment, I guess, like, to kind of feel free about that. Like, tú puedes tomar esa decisión and you talk to Jesus about it.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, he's the one that calls the shots, nobody else. And so, ¿será que, like, puedes, en mi caso, to both of my brothers, they are not Christians.
Yeah.
So I'm like, would I miss out on a family moment with them where I can be the light?
You can make the impact.
And make an impact in their lives in that moment, porque saber qué puede pasar, and maybe that's my moment, that's my opportunity to share Jesus, versus estar en la iglesia donde we're all basically here en un mismo sentir que we're Christian, or we're here to learn more. Like, ¿a dónde voy a hacer más impacto?
Exactly.
So, just food for thought. But we're going to go ahead and move on to Am I the Asshole? Oh, sorry. Am I the Jerk stories?
You forgot.
We have 2 today. You want to read one and I read one?
That works.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Dale tu primero.
Okay. Dang, Winnie reading a story? Okay.
I know how to read.
Okay, this one says... Ooh, okay, too much.
Emily,
I know,
don't
sorry.
break my stuff.
Okay. Am I the jerk for wanting quality family time with my wife and baby?
Right off the bat, obviamente
just from that title, yeah.
No, obviously.
Okay. Let's find out. I don't think so. I mean, who wouldn't want to spend quality time with their wife and
like,
baby?
who would see that
like,
as a bad thing? Come on.
Okay. It says, I, 32 male, and my wife, Sarah, 28 female, have been married for 3 years. Sarah has a close friend, Dan, 29 male, who she's known since college. Dan has always been a part of Sarah's life, and I've never had any issues with their friendship. However, things changed recently when Sarah and I had a baby. I expected our lives to undergo some changes, but what I didn't anticipate was Dan's continuous presence. In the past few months, Dan has been coming over to our house almost every weekend. He's there for hours, playing with our baby, offering parenting advice, and essentially becoming a regular fixture in our home. I initially didn't mind the support, but it started to feel overwhelming. I wanted quality time with my wife and our child without having a third person around constantly. When I tried to talk to Sarah about it, she defended Dan's presence, saying he was just trying to be a good friend and help us with the baby. Last week, things came to a head when Dan showed up unannounced on a Sunday morning while we were having family time. I tried to be patient, but I ended up losing my cool, and I told Dan that I wanted some privacy with my wife and child. Sarah got angry with me, accusing me of being ungrateful for Dan's help. It turned into a big argument, and I felt like I was losing my home. Eventually, Sarah and Dan went out, and I was left alone feeling like the bad guy. P.S. Since then, I've been reflecting on the situation, and I wonder if there's a way to find a compromise that respects everyone's needs and boundaries. Your advice and perspectives are greatly appreciated. Is he the jerk? You're already stressing over there. She's already stressing out. She's like, oh, God. Jeez. Okay.
Ese man es un tonto. Le están viendo la cara de tonto.
Why? Why, though?
¿Cómo que Dan es ahí? Todo el tiempo. Dan. Mira. Es que no sé.
Do you want me to start or
Sí,
find your bearings?
I just feel like he's dumb. The husband is dumb. Like, man. Like, ay, no. Avivate, agarra some calle. Like, ¿cómo que vas a... She left with Dan?
She left with Dan and the child.
Es que that's what I'm telling. Es que... Ay, hay gato encerrado. Okay, but let me... Okay.
No, dale.
Okay, my whole thought. That's my initial reaction, literally. Mm-hmm. But my
What's wrong?
But my whole thought is, obviamente he wants to spend time. Pero el problema, this is why I feel all the things. Because I'm like, you can't expect things... I guess you can expect some things to change as you grow up and your family grows up too. Mm-hmm. And you reach different life stones or whatever. Pero my thing is, Dan estaba allí desde siempre. Mm-hmm. Y nunca dijiste nada.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you have a child and you expected things to be different. Why? If you did not set boundaries from the beginning. See, ¿por qué no te molestaba? But maybe you were not paying attention enough to your wife. Maybe you were not spending enough quality time with your wife. And she's like, hey, but Dan is here all the time. So I'm going to spend it with him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, there's boundaries to it. And so now all of a sudden, you want to spend time to your wife and baby. But guess what? It has become now a thing that Dan is always around. And quién sabe if they have something romantic going on. Mm-hmm. Or maybe he does want to be just a good friend. And maybe he feels like, well, I've been here from prior to this baby coming into this earth. Mm-hmm. And so what is changing now? Like, I'm going to be part of this baby. I am the third parent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He really is.
So te está tomando como ese role, even though he's not. Pero él se está tomando ese role because la Sarah le está dando una chance to take that role on. And then for Sarah to defend Dan and be on his side and then ultimately leave with him. Para mí es como que like, what has made you defend more your friend than your husband? I understand that there are some things and some moments donde tú tienes que defender a tus amigos versus your man because maybe your man is being just hella stupid. But I don't think that this was a moment like that situation. So why did you defend Dan versus your husband? I don't understand.
I think, having a baby with someone, it's a very intimate thing. Like, let's be very honest. And I just wonder, in the past, you know, when they did have that friendship, I wonder if he was able to have intimate moments with Sarah. There's a reason why they got married. There's a reason why that's his wife and that's her husband, you know? And like you said, if it didn't bother him back then, you know, one, I think that's both their faults. I think, no, I don't think he's the jerk.
No,
I think it's
so
both
either.
of their faults. I think it's his fault for not setting a boundary for his home. And I think she also is in the wrong because she also is prioritizing a friend over her family unit. Olvídate del esposo. Like, forget the husband part. You are now not putting your family unit first, as in like, well, I'm worrying about Dan's feelings more than like my husband, the father of my child, having bonding time in this specific time of growth where it's like it's very important for you to be present. And I think that she got used to the fact that like he was, I'm sorry, a pushover, and she was like, bueno, me dejó hacerla hasta ahorita, so what's gonna change now?
Yeah, like,
so
why should everything change?
why are you getting all pissy now? Like, I'm sorry, like, aquí yo estoy comfortable y a mí me cae bien porque ahora tienes un problema con esto. And now that she's like, oh, he is a pushover. Oh, I like my things a certain way. And so far they've been this way. So why does it have to change now? For him not standing up for himself, saying, oh, I tried to talk to her. There is no trying. No, you will hear me speak. I am your husband. I am the man of this house. Pero now, because she's like running all up on him, he doesn't feel like the man of the house. He doesn't feel like he has a voice, which is why she did leave with him. Which is why he was able to be like, oh, shoot, like, damn, hasta lo dejé llegar a este punto. And now, I'm sorry, I do think if you don't feel emasculated, I sure as hell do feel emasculated for you. Because your wife ran off with a dude and your child. That's your child.
Le falta calle.
I'm sorry, no. And the fact that like
she got house with another man,
angry with him. She got angry with him saying, like, you're not being supportive.
I just think, like,
I'm sorry.
I see that as, maybe he's a little bit different, but even then I feel like it's even worse. He just seems
really passive to me.
It's even worse because I feel like, okay, Dan es un hombre y ella es una mujer, right? They're like super
be clear
close friends. Because, digamos, nosotros, we're both women and we have boundaries.
Exactly.
Like, we're together a lot of the time, but even in our togetherness, like, you know, like, hey, after a certain time, si no,
I gotta go.
Si you gotta go, o si decidiste que ibas a venir and you came too late, sorry, girl, turn around because it's too late.
And most of the time, I tell you, hey, I'm like, getting there really late. Is this okay with you? And most of the time, you're like, heck yeah, I'll be up late. Or, nah, girl, that ain't gonna work with us. Not tonight. Like, Oscar gotta get up at freaking 5 a.m. Not tonight.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes where you're like, no,
but there's boundaries. Like, and we both, like, you respect the boundaries that I have put for my house.
But we have talked about it. We have talked about it. This man never talked to his wife about it. Like, he didn't even talk about it when they were dating.
Es tonto. Because, again, if he would have done this a while back before that baby got here, you wouldn't have that issue.
You would already have those boundaries put in place. Yes, okay, we didn't go into the deep of like, what if this is his baby, not yours? We didn't even touch that topic.
I said que ahí hay gato encerrado. Something's happening.
Yeah, but see, some people are like me, where I don't get all those clues. Like, not like that, but like, gato encerrado. And what the heck does that mean? To me, I don't know what the heck that means.
You don't know what gato encerrado means?
I don't know a bunch of stuff. I just told you one thing that I don't know what the heck that was.
God. Gato encerrado es como que like...
Are you forgetting I grew up in church? I don't know a lot of that stuff.
I forget. I need to ask you about this other saying too, but for now, gato encerrado, for everybody watching, I guess, que no se sabe ese slang, means como que like... There's something going on that is hidden.
Yeah.
So
no, I understand now.
Context clues, right?
Yeah, but like, if you said that out of nowhere without the context clues, I'd be like, what?
A cat in cave. Encerrado and slave. No. Okay. Next, am I the jerk story. Am I the jerk for making my son quit his part-time job to go on our family vacation?
Okay.
What do you think? They made the son quit.
I am not a parent, but I'm gonna see it in a parent perspective. Okay. Only because I've worked with kids before. No. When you get a job, okay, and this was told to me when I first got a job. That's your responsibility. That's your chance to become an adult and take responsibility for like a very important thing, a job. Like that ain't just anything. That's not like you're like, oh, I'm gonna do whatever the heck I want because it's my life. Like, no, this is a job. Somebody is depending on you to make income and they are paying you for your time.
Yeah.
That's different. Like now you gotta act responsible.
Yeah.
And for you to just I'm sorry, like, yeah, there are some jobs that you just quit because you can quit. Like, that's dumb, right? But, yeah, I mean, it happens. But there's some jobs that you just can't quit. And for you to just tell your son out of nowhere, now you're telling him, hey, it's okay to quit whenever the heck you want. Or, hey, you don't have to be responsible. Let's go party.
I guess I can see that thought process. However, I am, like, in a whole different, like...
Yeah. Like
a moment in my life donde I feel like moments with family like means so much. We'll get into it, pero
not saying that I wouldn't. I'm not saying that. Not saying that I wouldn't quit a job over a vacay. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is there's a reason why I am self-employed and I don't work for a corporation because I set my own time and my own base.
So let's read the story so then I can get my whole thing together because then I'll spoil it.
No, don't spoil it.
My husband and I have 3 children. A 16-year-old and 2 daughters, 13 and 10. Our son got a part-time job as a lifeguard at a pool back in March. We live in South Florida, so the pools are open pretty much always. It was a good job for him. He liked it and was happy to have the money. The issue was his boss wasn't about giving time off.
Okay.
Was a jerk about giving time off.
Yeah.
Our family takes a yearly vacation to this little beach house we rent for a year. We've done this since the year I was pregnant with my son. So 16 years now.
Okay.
Of course, the kids all love it and look forward to it. Well, my son told his boss about a week when he signed up. But because that was only 6 weeks after he started there, he denied it. We made it clear he was still going. It was just a part-time job and there are a million of those. He protested, but we made him go. And his boss fired him. He was furious the entire time. He refused to do any family stuff or listen to us. So he was grounded when we got back. It's not that we don't trust him to stay home alone or anything like that. We just don't want him to prioritize work over family, especially some weekend job. We found a job at another pool 2 weeks later, so it's not like this impacted him in any way, but he still holds a grudge about it. He claims we didn't respect his choices and his right. We don't respect him trying to choose his job over family time, though we don't hold it against him since he's just a teen.
Is that it? Oh, I have thoughts.
Okay.
I have thoughts.
Dale.
I do not like that. I'm sorry. The parents were wrong. I think they were wrong. For him to take that position of like, hey, like this is a tradition. We've been going for how many years?
16.
That to me is like a big thing, right? Like it's something that you already expected. If it wasn't for the son being very adamant, like, hey, like this is something that I like. This is a job that I pride myself in. And it's the sense of, like, for me, when I first got my job, it was a sense of independence. It was a sense of like, I have responsibilities now, apart from my household. Like I actually have to act like an adult, you know? And the way I see it is like, no, like I have this one thing that's mine and I'm making income off of it. It's not about, I can go get another job. That's not the problem. The problem is I like where I am. I've been, you know, building a reputation, sort of say, even though it's just a lifeguard type of job, right? But regardless, a job is a job. And to have that responsibility to be like, no, like this is serious, like this is what I'm doing right now. And for them to just, you know, be like, oh, te vamos a castigar because you're being all pouty and stuff like that. I don't think that's right. Because then it's like, es que I don't know. Maybe because I've always been the type to have more than one job. I've always been the one to have multiple jobs. I've always felt like there's always time for everything. There's a time for work and there's a time for play. And I'm sorry, 1 year that he doesn't go with you, it doesn't mean he's not going to have Christmas with you. It doesn't mean he's not going to have New Year's with you. It doesn't mean you're not going to have another vacation together. I get it if it's the tradition. I understand that. I really do. But they're acting like they're never going to have another chance to go on a family trip with him ever again when there's still the whole rest of the year left. And especially they said, it's not that we don't trust them. It's not that we don't trust him to be alone. It's just we are forcing him to go on this trip because we said so. And to me, that's a stepping stone. Building character, building responsibility, building accountability. And he had that accountability. And I felt like they just took it away from him. I know you disagree with me, but I really do think that, like, you know, that was a personal choice that he had made. And they robbed that from him. They're like, nope, we're going to make this choice for you. And I understand he's young. I do. I really, really, really do. But he's in his formative years. And who knows? Who knows how that choice is going to impact his future and his thought process? Just because I've seen it before. So it's just, I don't know. To me, I do feel like, one, they shouldn't have grounded him for that. Like, I feel like that was dumb. And two, I think that they could have talked to him. I think they could have told them, hey, like, as a family and as your parent, I think this is what's right. I'm going to let you make the choice. But I'm telling you right now that this is something that's very important for us as a family and that we consider important as a tradition for us. And then let him make his choice. But again, they were like, nah, you're going because we said so and we are your parents.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we definitely disagree. We see it in completely two things. Yeah. I have a 13-year-old now, and so 16 is like 3 years from now. Mm-hmm. I don't think 3 years from now. I don't think that the parents aren't the jerk at all.
Okay.
At all, and I'll explain why I think that. Mm-hmm. Number one, I feel like we in the U.S., and this is why I'm really, really considering leaving this country. Because in the U.S. it's only hustle mentality. Mm-hmm. Desde que you're so young, mm-hmm. that you are so many people are prioritizing work versus mm-hmm. family.
Yeah,
I have always been super como creyente en que vive las etapas de tu vida. Yeah. Cuando eres un niño, vive esa etapa. Mm-hmm. Stop trying to grow up. Cuando eres como un bebé, como un niño, whatever. Cuando eres un preteen, vive esa etapa. Stop trying to grow up. Cuando llegas a ser un teenager, vive esa etapa. Stop trying to act like a little kid. Y también stop trying to act like you're a grown-ass person. Sorry. Yeah. You're a grown person. Cuando no lo eres.
Yeah.
Y cuando ya eres adulto, entonces enfrenta la vida because there's nothing that you can do to go backwards.
Yeah.
Like, ahora sí, ya eres un adult, you're full on there. There are so many memes that I have seen and that I 100% dale like a todo el tiempo. It's like, you know, one of the biggest lies that somebody ever told me, that it was great being an adult.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's not. Y adivina qué parte de tu vida, like the majority part, you're going to be an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So para mí, I feel like as a parent, I'm sorry, you don't need this job. First of all, you have what responsibilities? Mm-hmm. No pagas renta. Yeah. No pagas luz. We're not going to depend on your money to survive. No estamos viviendo como en esos momentos. They obviously can pay a beach house for a year. Mm-hmm. So, no se están muriendo in South Florida. No se están muriendo de hambre.
Yeah.
Para que este cipote like really makes a dent, like if he doesn't have a job. It's not, and again, it's like a part-time job. I'm pretty sure if it's a part-time, a weekend job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So para mí es como que I would force my child, and even now I am instilling in him, family time comes before anything and everything. Mm-hmm. Except Jesus.
Yeah. I was going to make that clear.
Porque I never want him to feel like he's a slave to a job.
Yeah.
Or to a career. Mm-hmm. Porque créeme, que si tú you're a realtor today. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. this is gonna sound crazy, but this is how we talk. Te morís mañana, guess what?
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of other realtors coming in the game. You're not missed.
Exactly.
I'm a manager today. I die tomorrow. I die today. Adivina qué? They have a job. They have a job posting already lined up for me tomorrow. But who misses me out more? My family. I only have para mí, los years that I have left with my child, I am taking it so serious of what we do together.
Because they're counted.
Porque they're counted. Once he turns 18, that's it. I have no say. Él puede hacer y deshacer con su vida como él quiera. And if he wants to spend time with me, he can. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. So then for the years that I have left, I'm going to make sure that I spend quality time with him. He may think that it's not a good idea. He may think like
this is boring.
The world
I don't
is ending.
Do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pero créeme que I'm pretty sure that if you think about algún momento en tu vida que you probably missed out on with your family, you're like, man, I wish I could have made but like, I wish I could have been there with my family instead of doing XYZ. I have a lot of those moments.
Yeah.
So I know that my kid in the future, if he misses out this one summer, this one yearly vacation, in the future, he's going to be like, I worked instead of being with my family. Like, what if his mom dies? What if, again, like, tú nunca sabes cuando, like, nobody is guaranteed life.
Yeah.
So, ¿qué tal si fuese el último yearly vacation that they had? And that is how I look at the world. And that's how I look at time. And that is how para mí, he's 16. This is not going to affect his career.
Not a career, but just like...
in character, building character, you can build character and discipline in other ways. Like, I don't see this specific scenario that is going to make such a big impact in his life that now que va a ser un vago.
I think my main focus was like, I don't think he was wrong for choosing to stay.
He's 16.
But I also don't think that like it was right for the mom to like ground him. Like, he can be upset over that. It doesn't mean like
the grounding part was too much.
No, if you were doing that, then we already made this choice for you. Now we're gonna make this other choice. Like, for what? For acting responsible? To me,
not acting responsible. He was acting like a jerk in the vacation, which spoiled it for everybody.
No, I'm saying the choice for him to be like, no, I want to stay and work because I don't want to lose this job. I don't think that was like a wrong choice. I also don't think that like, oh, well, if the mom's
but
like,
Emily, he's 16.
I understand.
He's not an adult. He doesn't get to make those decisions in his like lo que él quiere se va a hacer. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
No, I understand that. I'm saying like the fact that he made a choice to stay, I don't think that's wrong. She can have a say to whatever she wants. If she's the mother, he's underage. You coming with me whether you like it or not. Great. But I'm saying like his choice wasn't wrong because of the choice he made. You know what I mean?
Understand that he made that choice. And yes, his choice, for whatever reason, like he didn't want to miss out on that thing, those couple of, I don't know, $100.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I don't have to respect your wish. I'm sorry. I just don't.
Yeah.
Like, I've lived longer for this moment. You're going to do what I just say.
Yeah.
Again, we're not in a position where we need your money.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to go work.
Yeah.
So I think whoever the jerk is, I think is the boss.
Oh no, for sure.
Because
if anybody's the jerk in the story,
my
it's
son
definitely
told
him.
his boss about that week that they were going to be off when he signed up to be a lifeguard. But because
no.
it was 6 weeks from whenever he started, he said no. So at the same time, if I feel like if anything was wrong, I think like you should have like made him quit at that point and been like, hey, I mean, maybe like let's get another job.
I wouldn't have even taken that job if I knew that. It's because then it's like, okay, well now you're attached to the job. Like, why even take it in the first place?
So
especially if you gave him a notice ahead of time.
6 week notice.
Nah, like you tripping. También, nah, se pasa. Like if anybody's a jerk in the story, it's the boss for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I think. Family time again. Family time versus priority times over everything and everything except Jesus. But all right, let's move on. Our favorite song. Wow, that was a disagreement.
We don't have very strong disagreements that often. We do have them, just not strong. Most of the time, we do see eye to eye.
Yeah, and which I get your point. Yeah. It's like I understood where you were coming from, and yes, he wants to be responsible now, but you know how many years of responsibility he's going to need to have?
Yeah.
Trust me, enjoy this time.
Yeah. Okay.
Dale.
This one's more of a chill song that I like it, so we're gonna play it.
¿Cómo se llama?
Se llama Somos Iglesia, by Un Corazón, Steven Richards, and somebody else that I don't remember. It's coming. Kim Richards. Well, yeah, I already said that. Okay.
No, you said Steven Richards.
Oh, this is Kim Richards. There's 2 Richards in here.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, it's too long and it's too quiet. But basically, I love that it says like, hey, we're no longer lost. We're no longer out there in the world. Like, we're a church. We're one in him because we're found in him. And I remember, I think we talked about this in one of the last podcasts we did before coming back today, that, you know, there's so many different denominations out there, and we, you know, foundationally wise, we believe in the same thing. Yeah. We believe in the resurrection. We believe in the Trinity.
Well, most of them.
But like most of the denominations, we believe in the same thing. They just differ in a couple different tiny little things. Yeah. And I'm like, we are one church. We all believe in the same thing. You know, we're no longer lost. We're made one in him. And, you know, as Christians, I think that's one of the hardest things that we, especially the older generation, kind of don't want to accept, that it's like, we are all children of God. Yeah. We may not agree in everything, but
I still love you.
You're still my sister in Christ, you know, and I'm still gonna love you regardless, you know. And I love that song that they're like, we are a church, we are one, and we're made one in him.
Okay, nice. All right, I guess we're in a chill vibe.
Okay.
Porque yo también. I really like acoustic music.
Okay.
It's one of like my favorites, I guess you can say. So this one is called Soy Yo Otra Vez by Josh Galindo. Okay. As you can see, I love this song. I really like this song, number one, because just overall, like the whole like acoustic part of it, I like it. But it's also like saying like it's a prayer to God. Como que like, hey, aquí estoy yo aquí estoy otra vez, te necesito. Like it's like an actual prayer coming from the heart. And so I feel like this is a song donde a veces I'm trying to pray, or no he orado por bastante tiempo, and I just don't know how to get back in that rhythm. Donde es como que like I need songs like this, de que quizás dicen lo mismo que yo estoy sintiendo. And so then I'm like, okay, this is my prayer, Lord. Yeah. And then this is like how I initiated. Like, we're going to sing this song because this is how I feel. But then I'm like, okay, I got the courage now. Like, I'm going to talk. Y es como que like, okay, ya empieza a fluir todo. But it's like a prayer. So that's why I like it. Aww. All right, you guys. That is it for today's podcast. These were our thoughts. These were our moments of family time versus church time. Let us know what you think. Let us know a moment in your life donde quizás te sentí de alguna type of way of like, you know, versus like you chose more church, or you chose more family, and that made you not want to go to church anymore. I don't know. Whatever your case may be, but let us know in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. And that is it for today's podcast. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.